Guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm so happy to have you. So my previous subscribers, welcome back to this channel. So for today's video, we're going to be talking about and discussing the lunar eclipse, the first one of this year, revolving around Mars. It's going to be about a week away. On March 14th, it's going to start on March 13th, which is about 6 days from today. But we're going to talk about that and see what kind of effect it will have not only on the United States, but also globally. And we're going to see what big things are coming, because March is a very big month for all of us. And if you want to know more about how it's going to affect you and your life more specifically, go watch the previous video where I let you guys pick out 3 different sections and pick out the collective reading for you that more best fits the energy for you. Just take what resonates, leave the rest behind. In today's video, however, we're going to be talking about and discussing the United States and how it gets affected by the blood moon, because we've been talking about this very moment since November. And then we're also going to talk about simultaneously the how it's going to affect globally. So let's take a look. Let's see what's happening. Let's see what's going on here. Today is being recorded on Friday, March 7th at 11:56 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, as to when I am recording this specific video. If you want to help out the channel grow more and more, you can do so by liking, commenting, subscribing, hitting the bell icon, engaging with the comment section, or engaging with the video by watching longer. It tells the algorithm, hey, I like his content, show me more. So it helped us. Also, if you've been noticing that YouTube had not been notifying you actively when I do post and upload, or if been deleting a comment, go into the comment section below in my description and find my Blue Sky account or my Facebook group, so you yourself can be notified when I do post and upload. Without further ado, we are going to go right ahead. We're going to begin. But this video is just for entertainment purposes only and for educational purposes only as well. Thank you for being with us, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. Let me know in the comment section below what you think. Alright, so let's see what's going on here. I gotta make this brighter. Okay. So the first deck that we are going to use is called the American Eclipse deck. This is really going to help us really understand the energies and the frequencies of the blood moon surrounding next week. Because March is going to be a very volatile month for the United States and the world globally. But specifically for the United States, a lot of crazy things are happening. And it could be a lot on all of us. So the best way to really go about it is to essentially separate yourself when you feel called to separate. So it's okay to take time for yourself if you need it. And you can always get more additional information on what you should do and things like that based on the previous video that I did prior to this one. So Spirit Angels, tell me, what are some big things that's going to be happening around the lunar eclipse, or because of the solar or lunar eclipse that's happening, the total lunar eclipse that's happening March 13th to the 14th next week, 7 days from now? What's going to be happening? What are some big things that are coming our way? And final card. Ooh, there he is. So we have the 10 of Wands reverse. Okay. The top of the deck here, we have the 2 of Swords reverse. The boogeyman. Right? Making a decision, unable to make a decision. Okay. What are some big things happening in the United States? Okay. We're now going to take the Astrology Tarot deck, because it's no better than to read with astrology based on an astrological event by reading the solar eclipse, which just came out of my deck right here, which is the lunar eclipse. That's exactly what we're having right now. We're having a lunar eclipse 7 days from today. I don't know when this video could be uploaded, but 7 days from when this video is being made. So Spirit Angels, tell me about the United States and the effect of the total lunar eclipse on the United States. Oh, first card. So this is the card that represents all of the transitions and everything going on in the United States. Anything else you'd like to add, Spirits and Angels, about the total lunar eclipse? What are some big themes and things that are going on in the United States? What are some big things going on in the United States? I think Mars is ending. So I'm going to verify that in a second. Okay. With the bottom deck here, we have heading towards the past. It's the first house. And the first house of self, body, presence. Which is in the first house of Aries. So you can see that here, and it's heading towards the event, which means that the United States in itself and its who the United States represents is no longer going to be representative in this month. Towards the end of this month, it's not going to be the same United States as you know. Here we have on top, we have Venus, which is beauty, artistry, and love. Interesting. Venus comes up, Mars is ending, which seems to be based on the card, which I believe it is. Let me see when Venus comes in. When does Venus come in astrology? 2025. Venus will eventually re-enter Pisces on March 27th, which could potentially soften things after retrograding through Aries, which we talked about here, Aries being the first house of the United States, right? What represents the United States here. Aries fiery territory. That said, if you decide to rehash things with an ex, this could inspire you to make ways for more compassion and tenderness in your relationships. Alright, so then what is Mars? Let's see. In 2025, Mars was in retrograde from December 2024 to February 2025, and then moved direct in Cancer on February 23rd. Mars then moved into Leo on April 18th. So what does this tell us? What does this mean? It essentially means that Mars is leaving retrograde and it is transitioning into April, which means that it's staying in a stagnant area until April and then it's gone. But Mars is ending, which is interesting that Mars is ending while Venus on the top of the deck is beginning. Very interesting that those two come into play here. Now we're talking about the United States and what's going on in the United States globally and what we can expect with the total lunar eclipse within the United States. It all has to do with the stealth of the United States, what represents the United States and who is the United States entirety. Now remember, what we're experiencing right now is the Pluto return of the United States. The idea that we've been fed, the illusion of the United States is ending and the real United States is beginning. This is challenged by the Pisces card, which is 41. Now this means my salmon. Normally a salmon going upstream indicates that it's going to a freshwater stream. And a freshwater stream is where it spawns, and it spawns eggs. And as salmons climb up the what's called a waterfall, they actually become known as zombie salmons. And zombie salmons actually don't eat, and they just basically all their bodily functions shut down except the ability to go and move into fresh water to be able to spawn in a safe environment for their babies to go right back into the salt water, into the ocean, to live out their adult life until spawning has happened again. What is the Pisces saying? It's saying that the babies are entering into the ocean. They're not going into the freshwater lake. They're entering the ocean, which means something has been born in the fresh water and is now entering into mainstream, which is mainstream entering nationally. So, excuse me. Let me explain it in a better way. I understand it, but I just keep stuttering, so my apology. The best way I can describe it is the salmon goes upstream to spawn in fresh water, and then when the fresh spawn is hatched and is big enough, it goes downstream into the ocean and it lives out its adult life until the cycle repeats again. That's what it's saying. Here it's saying that we have reached a cycle where the zombie fish or the salmon has went upstream, spawned, the babies have officially grown big enough and they have now entered the mainstream. They entered nationally, the ocean being the national environment. Then that is the challenge to all this. Here, the first card that we have here is Libra, which is 38. It talks about technological advancement over the people. The people don't weigh as much as technology, and it's reversed, which tells me here that technology in some way is going to go through massive changes and a massive shift. The people and the public opinion of technology is going to start shifting. And we're going to start to see that more and more. Because here we have Mars, which Mars is ending, which means competition, action, and willpower. Which means that Mars, when Mars ends, you're going to start to see a lot of companies do away with people and jobs, and they're going to replace them with robots. So what's the first thing to note of this total lunar eclipse? People will start to lose their job and will be replaced by robots and AI. We already talked about this in another video a long time ago, about in 2022. So definitely expect me to talk about a video about that very soon, because I'm trying to find a video, and then we'll do a clip on it. But essentially, Mars is essentially talking about how robots is going to start to overtake people's jobs, and people's opinions of robots and AI are going to start to become very sour. They're going to view immigrants as a necessity rather than an enemy, and they're going to see robots and AI as the new enemy. The technology is going to be the enemy of the people. That is what's coming. That's what's ending. The ending is that coexistence between humans and robots and AI, and now we're entering into a new phase, which is where the relationship starts to step away from one another. Now, the next card is here, which is the Sun card, which the Sun card is reversed, which means the environment, right? The peacefulness of the environment. Yes, the Earth has in some way not caused as much destruction as one may have thought, and especially when it comes to climate change and global warming and all those things, we have not really seen its full capacity. That is also coming towards the future. We are now getting stronger environmental issues that are going to be more highlighted, because we are no longer focusing on environmental protection. We are now going to be hit by the maximum force of climate changing and with temperatures and all those things. We are now going to be hit by almost everything you could think of in terms of natural disasters, a massive amount of hurricanes, earthquakes, tornadoes, you name it, massive rain, droughts, whatever it is coming. Because of our lack and inability to protect nature when it's called to do so, it's coming. And here we have the moon, the emotion, the instinct, the subconscious. A lot of us know this. We've been told this. This is not something that has just come out of the blue. This is heading towards the future. The next moon eclipse, not this one, but the next full moon cycle, whenever that is, that's when it's going to start. Whenever that full moon cycle is. I think 28 days from when this one currently ends, and the new cycles begin within 28 days from this one that's already ongoing. After that 28-day cycle has ended, the new one will begin, and we're going to start to see this manifest into the physical. Let me actually find out when the next, I think full moon, right? New moon. I think the new moon. When is the next new moon? When is the next new moon? I'm not really good with astrology because that's not my expertise here. Okay, so the next new moon is going to be March 29th. So ironically enough, I guess the new moon is going to be the end of this month, is when the 28-day cycle is going to begin, and that's when we're going to start to see natural disasters and environments start to really take shape in full capacity. So that is also coming from the lunar eclipse, that the strength of natural disasters is going to start to be amplified. The strength of climate change is going to be amplified because we ended that period and we're entering into a stronger period, a resistant period. Remember, I told you Earth was going to be playing a big role in the evolution of the United States and forcing people to evolve to become resistant against the government which controlled them. Earth is no different. Earth is going to be very resistant to that as well. They will be taking part in this. So Earth will be helping us along the way. Whether you choose to allow it to or not, it's going to happen. Now, the next card that comes in here in the month of March to the total lunar eclipse in the United States, we have the Four of Swords, and the Four of Swords is reversed, which tells me people won't be resisting. They won't be protesting the way that one will had hoped for it. What I'm getting the energy of is that, a lot of us want Congress to do something, right? Congress as a collective is not doing anything. It's very stagnant. And that's why the Four of Swords is here. It's reversed. It's telling me here that they're very stagnant. There's a group of people who are supposed to be doing something or not doing anything at all. And here's why. We have here the first card that comes in. This is the collective reading. So this is the 8th house, but we're going to read in a second. The card that represents this specific card for the United States is heading in the future, which is the 9th house of Sagittarius, which means philosophy, spirituality, and knowledge. Now, I talked about recently in my other video when I talked about Liberty Striking, which if you have not watched that video, go and watch it. I talk about how I kept getting this information that that Congress in some way is becoming very spiritual in some formality. And I did a video on this and I didn't purposely upload it, but I guess I'm going to have to upload it now, which means you guys are going to know about this video by the time you watch this specific video. But this is specifically referring to the information and understanding that the four stories is telling us that spirituality between the good and evil what's taking place is going to start to affect the way that we view things, the way that Congress operates and works. There is going to be majority darkness in the Congress, but there's going to be good people within Congress as well, and they're going to be involved in spirituality, whether they want it to or not. So if you have not watched that video, a little short recap here, I essentially say that they're called light intention. The light intention is a possession of some sort. So there's two different types of possession. There's of actual possession, where the dark entity goes into a person of vulnerability who are of a lower vibration and make them do dark things and bad things, and it further enables that dark behavior from both the entity and the individual. The light intention is the opposite. The light intention goes into an individual, whether they are a low vibration or high vibration, depending on whoever can create the most change. The light intention is an entity or possession of some sort that goes into that individual and makes them do the good thing. And not only are they healing the individual of the body that they take or the host, they heal the host, but they're also healing the soul that is possessing that body. So it heals too. So there's two different dynamics. The light intention heals the individual soul and the host itself, whereas the actual possession itself, which is two different things, and the possession is a dark entity going to a lower vibrational, vulnerable individual and making them do bad things and actually making it more of karmic, making them have more karmic energy for both the soul that corrupted them and the corrupted individual. So there's two different dynamics here. There's the light intention, which are spirits entering the body, the physical, to try to make them do good things, to be able to help the process along, because it appears to me, based on the energies that I'm getting, that the fight between the light and the dark from the spiritual realm had now manifested into the physical, because in some way, in some capacity, they were unable to win that war, and for some reason they kept showing me trenches. And ever see like World War One where the trenches were very prevalent and they barely made an inch towards the enemy's line? Kind of like that energy. Like it's just very stagnant, barely any sort of movement. There's a lot of death, no movement. It has manifested into the physical, which means it has manifested in Congress, and in some way, you're going to start to see that start to take shape. You're going to start to see indicators that tell you, oh, this person is actually spiritual, or this person is actually corrupted. You're going to start to see the really dark side of Congress and the really good side of Congress. So you're going to start to notice that in the month of March. So that's something that's going to be coming in as well. That's why it comes in at the 9th house. And for the next card here, we have the King of Cups. Excuse me, I don't know, lift this up higher because I feel like this might be too low. This is the King of Cups. And the King of Cups is a very interesting card because it talks about the media. And you started to notice in the background there are little red dots around the world. Right? This kind of feels like telling me I have to do something with the military bases, the King of Cups. There's something going on with the military bases in the United States, or the United States' military bases, or military bases that evolved in the United States in some capacity, and that is in the past. Which is the planet of Jupiter, which means optimism, growth, and opportunity. Which means that it's actually telling me the empire is ending. So if you notice in here, right, you see the little curve, it looks like 2 and 4. This is telling me 2024, which means that all the bases and everything that represents the United States in the past in 2024 is no longer representative in 2025. So the King of Cups is actually talking about the fall of the empire and its military influence, which means the United States is actually losing influence in the month of March, specifically relating around its control of military bases. So that is also something that's coming in the month of March. The next card that comes in for the United States is the King of Coins, which is Elon, Tesla, advancement, technology, money. And we also talked about the card as well. But I'm getting a little token here, which is one token, but it's talking about virtual currency in some way. And it was further amplified by this card, which is the astrology card of the 6th house, which means work, service, and health, which is the 6th house of Virgo. And that is heading towards the future. that is headed towards the future, which is the 6th house of work, service, and health. Why is this important? Because in some way you're gonna start to see Elon and the President Elon, really, President Muskrat. You're gonna start to see a lot of the things that he's doing with Doge and Dodge start to really take massive effect in our life. It's gonna start to affect us towards the middle end of this month. So you're gonna start to see it start to manifest into the physical reality. We're gonna start to see the King of Coins here. Now, overall, you're asking yourself, well, Chris, what does this mean for us? What does it mean for the United States? Well, I'm glad you asked. At the top of the deck here, we have the two swords, which normally indicates to me a boogeyman. We're talking about the enemy, right? The enemy from the outside. No, the enemy is from the inside. That's why it's reversed, which means the enemy has already made its infiltration. It does not need to hurt anybody because it's already inside. It already did what it needed to do. The bottom of the deck here, though, we have the Ten of Wands. And the Ten of Wands just means creating the proper infrastructure for this individual to go up. It's the rebuilding of a foundation to make everything more inclusive in some way. So March is going to be a month of inclusivity, which means it's going to affect everybody. And here, specifically this is relating to the United States. In the United States, though, under the 8th house of Scorpio, which means metamorphosis, death, and rebirth, a transition period, a massive change, which makes a lot of sense because instead it affects everybody, and specifically it was above the 9th house of philosophy, spirituality, and knowledge. Something coming out of Congress that's going to change everything. Something comes from Congress that changes everything. Whether it's for the good or for the worse, it's coming in, and this 8th house tells us that it changes everything collectively, but it also further amplifying the energy here, which is the 9th house of spirituality, knowledge, and the 8th house. However, under this moon cycle, which means that 28 period, which means the end of March, which is the 29th, we have the Sun card here, and we have the planetary return going right before we enter into this Four of Swords. And right after we end the end of March, so toward the end of March, right before we enter this phase, right here in this section here, we're going to be heading towards this kind of like in a little bit of into April. But it kind of seems like this is the time frame here, because the energy of the total lunar eclipse seems to be going on two weeks longer than it should be, but that's kind of like where we're at the moment. Let me see when the new planetary returns. Planet returned US 2025. Let me put March. Okay, yeah, so it says here, as you enter March 2025, the solar system is bringing another chance to spot the red planet or Mars at its best from Earth. It's time to mark the calendar if one wants to observe the best planetary position of Mars. In March 2025, you can see Mars, Venus, and Mercury in the night sky. You might be able to see a total lunar eclipse on March 13th to the 14th. Let's see what's happening here. Yeah, so that makes a lot of sense though, because it's talked about that. Okay, so I guess the Mars already happened. So the planetary return is already Mars coming back into the fold here because it went through a break period, which means that Mars, the planetary return, now that we understand everything, I apologize. This is the month of February. This is the month of February. This is where we are now. Excuse me. So this is not April. This is where we are now. Now that we understand a planetary return, which means cyclicity, homecoming, progress, which has to do with the ending cycle of Mars. And right before we get into Venus, which is Venus is beauty, artistry, and love. So it's going to take a little bit before we get to the energy of Venus. I would say Venus is going to be more so representative of what they call April, which is all about passion. But that doesn't mean it has to be good passion. It could be fiery passion. But we're going to do another video on that. But again, this is what the United States, this is the energy of the United States. The planetary return in the United States is also indicative of the Pluto return here in the US, and that it's just going to be further amplified by Mars' energy. And Mars is going to amplify some of these topics that come to the forefront. So that's what I'm getting in terms of energy revolving around the United States. Let's see, is there anything I need to do for the world globally, Spirit? Okay, so I'm hearing actually from my for my guys here, they're saying that everything I touch upon the United States is going to affect the world globally. So I guess it's like a two-part series where you guys are going to be, for those of you guys who are not in the United States, you're going to be watching the United States go through this from bird-eye perspective, but it is going to affect you in some way. Whereas those who are in the United States, well, we're going to be watching it from home, unfortunately. And it's going to affect us here at home. So I guess the total lunar eclipse is indicative and indicating that there are massive changes in the United States that's going to affect us globally as well. So you guys let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. I do apologize for a little bit of the confusion today, but I hope that I was able to make sense of it. I do apologize. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. I'll see you on the next video. Until then, peace out and I love you.